We are going on our first family adventure after the pandemic and we are headed for Bali. It's our first time going to Bali and also my first time planning for a family trip. So I'm excited but also nervous and I just hope that everything will go to plan. We are taking an early morning flight with Scoot Airline. And in less than 3 hours, we have arrived in Bali. After meeting our taxi driver at the airport, we went to buy a SIM card and then got some crispy chicken for lunch. For our first day, we will be exploring the south of Bali. Our guide brought us here to Nusa Dua, the first beach in our trip. The water here is just so blue. We wanted to go to see the water blow, but it was sadly closed due to the high tides. So we just walked around, embraced the sea breeze, and enjoyed the stunning views. Our next stop is Pandawa Beach. I must say though, the entrance to this beach is straight out of a movie because the road was carved out from the surrounding mountains. This beach was buzzing with a lot of people doing water sports and even paragliding. After soaking up the beach vibes, we hit the road again and headed to our next destination. The Uluwatu Cliff Temple. This temple has a lot of wild monkeys. Our driver came prepared with a tree branch to protect us from all these monkeys. Being on top of the cliff, the walk around the temple was really scenic and gave us amazing views of the surrounding ocean. Oh, I guess it looks like someone's sunglasses got stolen by the monkey. After returning our sarongs, we were back in the comfort of our air-conditioned van, ready for a sunset beach dinner at Jimbaran Bay. Now, here's the tea. The seafood at this dinner spot wasn't exactly that fresh, but the amazing sunset here really just made up for the food. It was just one of the prettiest sunsets I've seen in my life, and I could not stop taking photos. And finally, we're checking into our hotel at the end of the day. So here's a quick tour of our hotel room. I must say it's a lot bigger than the photos, so I'm quite happy with it. Since we arrived in the dark yesterday, it is time to give our hotel a proper daylight inspection in the morning. This Balinese-style hotel has a really charming vibe, and I could see that it was very popular with Australians, because we were one of the only few Asian families staying here. We are having the breakfast buffet, and they have a really good selection of Western and Balinese dishes. So here we are at the front entrance waiting for our driver to pick us up, and I must say the weather is really on our side today. For our second day, we will be exploring the central part of Bali. Our first stop is the Tengah waterfall. Our driver guided us through the tourist traps, and after paying for our tickets, they stamped our hands. This is the view of the waterfall from the top. But to actually reach the waterfall, we had to walk all the way down the stairs. I read online that this is the easiest waterfall to reach in Bali, so that is probably why there are so many tourists here. I did not get a good video of the crazy stairs, but there were really a lot of them to climb, and I was almost breathless by the time I reached the top. While we were on our way to the next destination, we saw a traditional Balinese procession passing by our van. Here we are at Batusari restaurant for lunch. This mountain view alone is worth the visit here, trust me. So this is Mount Batur, an active volcano, and you can see the black lava there. The restaurant also has glass viewing decks for photo taking. And there are plenty of seats with amazing views of the mountains. We had the Indonesian buffet for lunch, and I would say it's really good value for money. I found out about the lower deck of the restaurant when I was looking for the washroom, and there are even more seats here, and the views here are amazing as well. Overall, the food here was amazing and the views here were so good as well, so I had a really good time here. Our driver told us that we were lucky to have such a clear view of the mountains because it can get really foggy and hard to see them sometimes. Our next stop is the Tagalagang Rice Terrace. Swinging on the Bali swings? No. We played it safe and watched others have fun instead. There were a lot of photo-taking areas around the viewing deck, so we had a fun time just hopping around and snapping pictures. We also walked down to explore the rice terraces, and I must say that being surrounded by these majestic palm trees kind of felt magical. We were there in May and the rice just got harvested, so all we saw was short seedlings and not the tall grass that you would see on Instagram. Although our timing was off, I still enjoyed the short walk around the greenery. Next, we wanted to do some shopping, so our driver brought us to this giant souvenir shop. They had everything here, from bags to clothes to wooden trinkets. So I got myself some magnets and cookies for some friends. After arguing about where to eat for dinner, we ended up at a Chinese restaurant recommended by our driver. Let's just say that the food here wasn't top-notch, and the smell of cigarette smoke did not exactly set the mood either. Oh well. Today, we are checking out of our hotel. Let me spill some tea about our hotel. For less than $30 per person per night, including a buffet breakfast, it was an absolute steal. The only downside though was the water pressure in the shower. But shout out to the amazing staff who helped us with our bags because those stairs were no joke. Now for breakfast. I'm having a more Western style today. The scenery in Bali really reminds me of Myanmar. The lack of tall buildings here make it possible to see more of the sky, and it just makes me feel so much more peaceful. For our third day, we are exploring North Bali. After a long drive to the mountains, we have reached our first stop, Wonogiri Hidden Hills. This place is actually an Instagram spot and is actually smaller than a basketball court. It has quite a number of unique photo spots with amazing views of the hills and the lakes. And the photographers here are the highlight. They helped us take photos for free and they were really good at taking photos. I mean, the photos here turned out so good. Even my parents had a fun time posing with the different photo props. So I think it's definitely worth it coming all the way here for gorgeous travel photos.
Okay, go on.
Next, we made our way to the Ulundanu Barantan Temple. It's an iconic temple that's dedicated to the goddess of lakes and rivers. The surrounding mountain and lake scenery here is just incredible. The higher altitude also makes the atmosphere a lot cooler here, so it feels very different from the beaches in Bali. Oh, I also saw a lot of animals here, from bats to owls, and they even had a mini petting zoo, so I guess these are just businesses set up for the tourists coming here. Even with all the crowds, I still enjoy exploring the area and just taking in the cool breeze. After that, our driver brought us to Billy's Tessa for lunch. And let me tell you, this place here is a feast for the eyes. The restaurant was decorated really beautifully, and the entire place was just so interesting to explore. So I was just snapping photos and videos for a good 10 minutes before I came back to the table and I realized that the food hadn't even arrived yet. So I just ate some snacks and even got a refill of them because I was getting hungry. My fried duck might look small, but hey, I guess it was decent enough. I must say though, having a private taxi driver and sorting out the itinerary in advance made our travel experience so much more comfortable. Especially because the tourist attractions I wanted to visit were quite far apart, so not having to worry about arranging transport made it so much more enjoyable for me. Plus, getting some sleep in the car during the long rides is an absolute bonus. So that marks the end of the touristy first part of our Bali trip. Now, it's time to relax and enjoy some serious resort vibes.